Okay, so let's get started. Welcome to the webinar by ElectroNeek about ElectroNeek Partnership Program. Welcome everyone. We will have wonderful 25 minutes or so today. I will go in to walk you through a few slides and then we will have an open discussion. I will be happy to answer any questions about ElectroNeek or about our partnership program. But feel free to drop the questions as we walk through the presentation, or feel free to ask them in the end. I hope we will have time to address all of them. So let's get started. For those of you who don't know who is ElectroNeek, we are an RPA platform. We are an RPA vendor who decided that the mission would be to make the automation affordable for the clients of managed service providers. We are in 3 quarters in a row in different leadership categories in RPA market by G2 based on verified user feedback. We are among 4 market momentum leaders. I'm more than sure you know 3 other companies really well. We currently have 5 open offices across the world in different geographies. It's North America, it's LATAM, that's EMEA, it's India, and that's Eastern Europe. So we standing up dedicated teams, including customer support and customer success teams there. So you may have heard about our recent funding. It's not to brag here, it's just to demonstrate that we do have resources to work on both product and marketing, which I will be talking today for a while, how our marketing is beneficial for the partners and vice versa. So I just decided to bring this up for those of you who don't follow the news. So let's get started. And my role in the company, I'm one of the co-founders, and I'm Chief Innovation Officer. I was historically in charge for many of our external relationships. And over the last 6 months, I worked closely with the rest of the team on putting together the partnership program and making that very beneficial and useful for you all. So let's get started. Part 1 is called Vision, because the goal of this meeting is not to generate new business for us. It may sound a bit like marketing, but the real goal here is to share our vision and to find those of you who share it so we can partner and work together. And to get there, I want to tell us our vision. And the vision is fairly simple. Think about years from now, businesses will rely on automation as a very important strategic component of what they do. They do now, but the need for automation will go up and up as we progress. And if we talk about physical robots or about software robots, someone would need to set up the infrastructure and automations for the businesses, for entrepreneurs. In another vision, businesses will rely on managed service providers or service providers in general to deliver them that essential automations that will be the capstone of their business. So that's the vision for the future of work. If you share it, let's stay with us. Why robotic process automation, and why I intentionally used word automation without RPA acronym on the previous slide? It comes to the point that RPA is an immediate opportunity. That's something that we can all work together in the next years, but that's not the end point. RPA is just a step towards hyper-automation. Hyper-automation is a step towards something else that we haven't defined with analysts yet, but businesses automate more and more, and people are empowered to do more and more as a result of that. Means in the future, probably will be something else. But RPA currently represents great opportunity to enter the market of automation business and grab the land there. Analogy to where I think we are now with RPA would be the broadband internet in 1990s. Do you remember the time when people charged like $25 for 100 megabytes? That was the RPA of 2015 to 2020. Big RPA, big enterprise implementations, $500K to $1 million projects, big consulting teams, a lot of complexity, many teams that have titles that haven't not been known till that, like solution architect. Currently, RPA becomes a commodity. We need to all admit that, and that drives a lot of SMBs and a lot of mid-market clients towards service providers to get their RPA. The service market for RPA is growing much faster than the software market itself. So that represents a lot of opportunities for those who want to create jobs to automate other jobs. So our current focus on RPA is a reflection of, we want to show you this opportunity up front and give you the tools to grab this market. But we see our partnership as something bigger, and our journey is something that is much longer than RPA. Why managed services? Why our partnership program is called ElectroNeek Partnership Program for Managed Service Providers? There's an angle to that. If we look at how enterprise RPA implementations work, we can split that SOWs essentially, or revenue streams, into different components related to the project lifecycle. Starts with strategy, then it's pretty much finding processes, training people, design and deployment. For some who are new to the industry, it's not obvious, but the development of bots itself and enterprise implementations was maybe like 30% of the billable time. And maybe 30-35% of overall revenue. So many of these components, they by nature were one time. And for those of you who came from RPA implementation business and or do currently have enterprise clients, you've seen that dynamic. You enter such projects, you make a lot upfront, but clients start to pick up RPA on their own if they see the POC being successful. So you essentially help them to open the door to do the proof of concept. Could be big proof of concept, but still POC, and they let you go. We want our partners to build businesses in managed services where everything is recurring, everything is embedded as optional, as something that is on demand. And pretty much we want your clients to rely on you as central point for their automation needs, for support, for finding processes, and even for change management, because it all can be delivered on a subscription basis, and as a result, recurring revenue can be created. Why that model flies so well in SMB and mid-market? Because for customers, it's a peace of mind. They buy a solution, they don't buy software. That's very comfortable for them. Many mid-market clients, they understand now that their bigger enterprise competitors, let's say in insurance space, already implemented RPA, and that gave them competitive edge. They try to catch up, but they want to catch up in a very efficient way where they don't spend 6 to 9 or even more months on building one bot on a very complex enterprise technology. They want you to deliver the value quicker, so they want to work with service providers. What's good for you? Client stickiness. Clients don't look into bots. They interface with bots like they will do with a macro on steroids, like Excel macro on steroids, or they just don't see them because they're unattended. Or maybe they deploy it even in your infrastructure and client maybe doesn't even know about the bot existence. They just buy the outputs of that bot work. So anyway, it's greater client stickiness. What's so good about revenue that comes from managed services? It's predictable, typically higher margin after year one, and it leads to greater shareholder value. If you ever were wondering why SaaS companies have so high valuation, that's because they do have only recurring revenue, or majority of their revenue is recurring, even if it's services. You can read a lot of articles about how to build recurring service revenue stream, how it's different from product one. But in essence, they impact the shareholder value in the same way. Your major metrics become annual recurring revenue and net dollar retention. Not a joke, but a few of our clients restructured their businesses as Delaware C Corps to attract external investments from venture capital, from real estate, because they can demonstrate a portfolio of recurring revenue projects. So we think about our clients as those who essentially build software as a service business, because bots customized to deliver to clients are essentially software, they're solutions. So they build their SaaS business on top of our SaaS business, and this is beautiful. Mid-market players are transitioning from projects that have no managed service components to projects that have some managed service components to pure RPA as a service offerings in their cloud infrastructure. For those of you who are new to RPA, if you deploy in your own infrastructure, you secure yourself against major changes to that infrastructure, and you can easily manage the risks and more comfortably for you as a managed service provider sell by subscription. So that was an intro. So it took 10 minutes, but I think it was important to share our vision and why we want our partners and clients to enter the managed service space for RPA. Software partner versus software vendor. And that's the intro of the program. So what does it take to start and grow RPA service business? You need a technology, you need people who will be using this technology. And then there's a bunch of stuff that some consider boring, but they're super important to start a business. It's commercial model, that's a service portfolio. That's channels, that's how you build your brand. How you build your brand to protect your margin in the long run. Very interesting questions. How do you measure performance? Okay, you started the business and you have 5 developers, let's say, and you have certain revenue stream. How is it big enough? From First, I will answer your question at the end of the session. So, are you doing good? How you compare against peers? What's your revenue per developer? How utilized are the developers? How you can do better? How many projects can a developer support? Do you have a dedicated support unit or so? It all comes to the performance management. ElectroNeek Partnership Program is not about technology. That's about all these things from commercial model to performance management. I will walk you through some of that as we build in this program up. Not everything is ready. Not everything is ready to use, but I will tell you what's already on and what we're going to build in the near future. So what exactly the program is? That's our way of engaging with clients to accelerate their entrance in the RPA market or accelerate their scaling in this market by building new service offerings. For whom we offer this program? For entrepreneurs and businesses who share the vision, where in the future of work automations will be very, very important and they will be delivered via service model. Who are these entrepreneurs? Some of them work in, or some of them founded or run small IT service boutiques. Some of them are executive managers in professional service firms. Our largest client has 25,000 employees. Let's talk about technology first, because there are some things that are important for the business. First of all, it's unbundled RPA bot runners. As you know, bot runners are not a commercial software by ElectroNeek. It's free to download. It's not an open source, but it's free to download by anyone from our website. So we committed to the zero-cost bot licensing so you can build your commercial model on the terms that make sense to you. Because all commercial models are unique. All target markets are unique. How you want to charge your customers? Of course, we care. We want you to build managed services and charge them on a recurrent basis, but it's complete flexibility for you. You don't have any limits on how cheap or how expensive that your offering could be, what the components are. It's all very flexible to you because you work with a vendor that has zero bot licensing costs. We committed to build an MSP-centric product. And in our August release, you will see more things in multi-tenancy and central deployment, which are new or very important for our partners who work with multiple clients. And that's pretty much all our successful partners. We want to make onboarding for new developers easy because that people component, that's on you, not on us. People are the most important in the automation business. But we wanted to make it easier for you to hire, to train, and retrain people. So we build in more no code for browser cases to overall lower the bar for new developers. And also we open in Python in our platform. So we can easily onboard developers from other RPA platforms that rely on Python as a major language for customization. That all comes in August release. You will hear a lot of comms. If you came to this webinar from our email distribution, we will let you know really soon. So the first component of the partnership program, we call it go to market in a box. That's something that is not fully developed yet, but we're working on that under the framework of new partner portal, which will be the central point of interaction with us. You log in here, there will be trainings there will be templates, tools, collateral, and also there will be part of the lead distribution system that we are rolling off. Currently, partners in 2 regions receive systematic leads based on their partnership tier, and we're very happy to supply them. Historically, we were reluctant to give leads to partners who are very new because it's about the quality and we wanted the clients who work with partners powered by ElectroNeek to be happy. But currently we see that many players who come to us who have some RP experience, they're really looking for the leads as a major driver of change for working with new vendors. So we enable that currently in 2 regions. Strategy consulting, that's something that we launched under my leadership recently. I want to speak a bit more about that. Building the managed service provider is very different from what being traditional RPA service business. There are many interesting things to walk through mentally when you put together the business plan, when you plan through resources and you try to envision what will be your core offering, your cross-service offerings, and how it supports your brand in the long term. So we do this quarterly, that series of boot camps, which essentially are one-on-one sessions with optional office hours, where we dig deeper into what is important for your business right now as you roll out go-to-market or as you scale new offerings. We will continue doing that. And for those of you who join our partnership program in this quarter, from October, we will relaunch it and all the sessions will be scheduled again. We will continue moving forward. Currently, the feedback is very positive, and I'm very happy to see that some of the things that we translate as best practices already in place by our partners, and it validates that there is a real need for that models in the market. Marketing, something we do since 2021. First of all, powered by ElectroNeek co-branding, can be very useful for automation boutiques that are looking for differentiation in the market. That co-branding comes to collateral and other things. More important, we find that marketing capability from design to copywriting to publishing to distribution is a strategic gap for many managed service providers. So we help to package client cases and success stories. We give templates, we interview you, we provide templates for client interviews. We show you how to create a good video, how to publish that. We give you all the graphic materials needed for that to shine. That already works. And the feedback from partners who leverage the services is very positive. In the end of March, we ran a webinar, some of you may remember, where 3 of our partners presented automation cases with X3, Sage X3 product, the ERP system. And all of them got new businesses in this angle during Q2. So between that webinar in March and end of June, all these companies added like 3 to 5 developers each because of the growth in that specific business. So you find that doing these co-branded webinars is very efficient for managed service providers of any sizes. Of course, it depends on your size. We can customize it to fit your overall marketing and branding approach. Bot library. We receive the questions about bot library all the time. Like, can I go to bot library and download this bot and sell it to clients? Not exactly. Bot library is not a marketplace. It's not where freelancers or us put bots to download. There's no download button there in bot library. Bot library is your showroom as ElectroNeek partner of what you built for other clients, or maybe something you built for your inspiration you want to share with the community. We invest a lot in SEO components, so these bots can be found when people are looking, in this case, IBM Maximo Automation. So there's a partner there, Epsilon LLC, and that's a bot developed by them. If anyone clicks on the button, get this bot, it automatically will generate a lead for Epsilon. That's how we look at that. So when you start working with us, more bots you build to bring into our bot library, greater your marketing exposure. When it comes to support with all partnership tiers, and I encourage you to learn more and engage with our sales or partnership team to learn more about how these tiers are structured, but they differ in the level of support you need. And support is not to help you to figure out how a product works when you run into an issue. It's to help you to better plan the development work and use the best practices when it's needed. So if you have a question, how to create the best email parser, if we haven't addressed it in our knowledge base and provided explicit guidance, come to our support and get all the help. And as you see in different tiers, the volume of the support is very different. So if for you, the land grab, you want to do it in an accelerated way and you want to roll out RPA to 20 accounts in the next 6 months or so, you will need a lot of support, but that will provide you a lot of payoffs. Features and connectors requests. So that comes to the gold perks, and the gold partnership tier is our biggest tier at this moment. Only at this level, we talk about features and connectors requests, because then we open our product team for you. We can sit together and align our product roadmap, minor parts of that typically, to your needs. Do you specialize in specific software type and you want to have connectors in the studio for that? Let's discuss that. Is your automation corner case involves something that requires specific surface automation that maybe don't support at this moment? Let's sit and talk. It all depends on the volume of your business, because we want to work with partners that grow. By the way, we became very picky on what partners we want to work with. And it doesn't mean that we discriminate smaller players. No, very opposite. We want to make sure that bigger companies that start to work with us, we understand that they are committed to building big RPA practices. Because for us, working with a company that has few hundred developers and only a few of them use ElectroNeek is less interesting than to work with companies who pretty much build their majority of their revenue from RPA. They're more insightful, they're much more interested to engage in consulting work because we can see the impact of what we can provide as a benefit for them. So for us, it's major metric how well the customers grow, and because of that, let's talk. So if you share our vision for the future of work and you want to learn more about partnership program, just email me. It's probably the first time I put it in my direct email into the webinar, because I really want to hear more about, what I said today. Did it resonate with you or not? Where are you in the journey? I see some existing partners here as well. I assume you came out of interest if there's any new to the program. So I hope you've heard about the portal that we haven't announced before. We're working on that. I hope I addressed some of the clarification questions related to bot library as well. One of the most common questions we receive through our customer success team is how to work with SMBs, how to build effective offerings in small and medium-sized business space. My advice there would be fairly simple. Sell by subscription, offer 3-year plan, because that's typical life cycle in SMB clients. Don't work with SMB clients with whom you don't see potential to make more than $50,000, to make less than $50,000 a year. You likely would never hit the first project at all 50K, but there are many small, medium-sized businesses among this 1.5 million of SMBs in the States who do have pain points sizable enough to attack with RPA. But it doesn't mean they will have one pain point for 50K. They likely will have 2-3 pain points. So we advise you to aim for something between $10,000 to $20,000 as a starting check size. You can charge them on a monthly subscription if you can afford that, if you don't have limits on how much you can inject from financial standpoint. But that's the way they will be very comfortable buying, and then plan to expand within 6 to 9 months to 2 more projects with them at the same 20 to 10K range. It will give you around 50K per account. Ironically, as many of you know, in mid-market globally, not so many RPA projects are expanding beyond $50,000 of software licenses and maybe $50,000 of services. That just happened because zero licensing model didn't fly at the time. Things are changing. Mid-market companies and enterprise companies, they have this army of processes that sits there unautomated because there was no economically viable solution to do that. And we at ElectroNeek, we make the automation affordable for your clients. So now it's time to revisit how much we can make there. What else I wanted to add on the small business side? I think it's worthwhile as you build SMB practice, if it's on top of your mind, to think about how you leverage reusable components. Build smaller bots, deploy them through Orchestrator to solve a client problem. Why it's so beneficial when you do the next bot for another client? If you specialize around specific types of software, you likely have all the use cases of data entry or data extraction from a specific system, let's say Sage X3. So you will need to work less on building a new customized bot for a new client, because you can always leverage the components you built in the previous client projects. If you embed it in your strategy, your margin will always be high, even when you start feel the price pressure from other SMB markets. It's important to understand that in the free market, RPA for SMB will be much more competitive. So it's great time to enter that, grab as much as you can, and then think about other value add services you will put on top of that, like decision making. Artificial intelligence is definitely coming there as well. There will be many useful corner cases. And of course, digital docs. So many digital docs are still processed manually in SMBs. So think about building digital docs plus RPA offering, and ideally offer that as a SaaS. Let me stop here. We have 5 more minutes. Let me go through the questions that I see in the chat and in Q&A section. Okay, so what's managed service components? In managed services, typically what you put on paper for a client project will be, I'm building this bot according to the specs. I will be maintaining that. It will take this much time. That's how much I'm going to charge. That's the tolerance to changing scenarios, templates, or changes in the workflow that I will handle on my own as part of the services. In the basic form, that's it. But if you look back at what I've showed, it is a diagram of what can be there. Training could be there as well. How you provide training as a managed services. There are different ways to do that. You can say that I am committed to train your people or retrain them regularly. Or some say, if you decide to build your own RPA team, part of my services would be free optional training and transfer of knowledge. That's how I will handle this project to you if you decide to move forward. Some of our successful MSPs, they even say that I record on the video the bot creation process for all the bots I built for you. You have complete peace of mind that if you decide to move forward and switch out from managed service to building your own RPA team inside the company, you will have everything. and that comes as an option in their managed service package. Is there a helping hand to do pre-sales presentations to potential customers? Assuming we do the fact findings use case. I think that's something we can discuss. That typically depends on how important the deal is for you, and that comes to the relative size of your business and this prospective deal. So we typically support clients on the strategic deals when it comes to the pre-sale. Do industry-focused RPA providers usually experience faster growth? I will even add to that, not even industry, but more specifically software-focused providers. Software-focused means that you're good in automation of cases around specific software. Why it works so well? Typically, that software is very common among the industry, but instead of targeting all healthcare clients, for instance, you limit yourself to healthcare clients that use specific, let's say, client engagement software. In this case, you likely understand the gaps around the software in data entry or data extraction. So when you come to a new client, instead of rolling off completely fresh process finding process, you just tell them, oh, you use this software. You likely enter invoices manually here, or likely you people go to copy this data here on a regular basis to move into the spreadsheets or something like this. That allows, of course, to faster generate interest in what you do, to leverage more of social selling, and to grow faster. So yes, specialization here definitely helps. Any other questions? Thank you first for the question. Okay, we're coming to the top of the middle of hour. Do we have a standard questionnaire questions that we need to capture to estimate the efforts for creating automated bots RPA solution? We do have a framework that we share with clients that is how to select the right process for automation. It's not about estimating hours per bot. This is something that comes with expertise. We can help you there as well. But when it comes to selecting the process, there was questions about how many systems involved. Do you involve OCR? OCR cases in general are a bit more complex to build. And that framework will guide you to what processes are good to start. And of course, here you need to compare the size of the pain point on the client side to the simplicity of process. Ideally, you want to find a golden combo when the process is that simple, it's rule-based, not so many systems involved, but people do that manually because maybe something on API level connectivity historically wasn't done well, and or maybe there was no API connectivity at all. So we'll be happy to supply with this framework for how to find processes. But when it comes to estimates, that's the people component of the business. So. Okay, so then we came to the middle of the hour. Thank you so much for listening to us and appreciate your interest. If you're an existing customer, good luck. If you're an existing partner, good luck. If you're new to RPA or it's first time you meet ElectroNeek, please engage with us. We will be happy to explain you more and to walk you through the process. Thank you.